Good afternoon, traders. My name is Tomasz Wiśniewski. I'm a Chief Analyst in Alpari Research and Analysis, and this is Daily Analytical Report. So, we have some nice movements on the market right now. First, we will start with macro calendar, but I have to tell you that on many charts, we do have long-term trading signals, which were triggered 2 days ago, which were triggered today, yesterday. And they are present, still active, and as I said, it's these are long-term occasions, so should be useful, should be on the table for the next few days, weeks, or maybe even months. All that is happening before Friday non-farm payrolls. Apart from that, well, that is going to happen tomorrow. Well, today in the calendar, we had EIA crude oil stock exchange, which came much better than expectations, but failed to leave the oil prices higher, and now oil prices are undergoing a correction. What is more, we had trade balance from Australia, which came worse than expected and actually negatively influenced Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar. We are going to have a 1-hour GDP from Eurozone and a speech from Mario Draghi in 7 hours. Obviously, well, on the stock market, on the indexes, shares, it's all about the tax reform and the government shutdown, which is looming right now. For the forex market is a little bit less important. Well, the forex market, on the currency market, on the commodities market, we can see strength of the American dollar, which obviously is caused at some point by this government shutdown, I think, and this tax reform, but mostly it's about the pace of the interest rate rises in the United States. It's still the most important information, and now American dollar is much stronger, and actually it looks like on many instruments we do have a start of a new wave of the strength of the American dollar. Apart from that, well, normal Brexit negotiations. And not really much is happening on the from the fundamental point of view, right? As I said, everything is focusing around the tax reform and the government shutdown. So these are like events which are not so important for the currency traders. But it doesn't mean that we don't have any trading occasions, because as I said, we do have quite a lot of them. So first we'll start with euro dollar, where unfortunately we do not have any trading signal. I think we should adjust this support a bit more accurate. It's here, this resistance here. I think it's the proper way to do that, maybe even a little bit lower, yes, like that. So currently the closest resistance is 118.06, yes, 06, and the closest support is 117.30. Price is making lower lows and lower highs, and it looks like we should get to 117.30 soon. Australian dollar to Canadian dollar, that was a strong sell signal for me recently. Again, why is that? Because we broke the long-term uptrend line. We tested this trend line as a resistance. We broke the horizontal support here, which was tested later as a resistance. And as long as we are below the orange area, the sentiment is definitely negative, even with this spike from yesterday caused by the dovish statement from the Bank of Canada, right? So we had an interest rate decision and statement from the Bank of Canada, and as you can see, Canadian dollar was trading lower. The Canadian dollar was weaker, and even despite that, as long as we stay below the orange area, which is slightly below psychological barrier of 0.97, as long as we stay below this area, the sentiment is negative. Gold. Gold is one of those instruments that we do have this long-term signal. Why is that? Because gold most recently broke three important supports. So first one was the long-term uptrend line here. Second one was the long-term lower line of the symmetric triangle. And the third one was the horizontal support here. Okay, this horizontal support here. So a combination of three supports. And that actually was broken at one day, 2 days ago. As you can see here, strong drop. Yes. After that, yesterday we had a small reversal. The price was testing $1,268 per ounce as the closest resistance, and this test was positive for sellers. So they defended recent support as the closest resistance. And this is one of the most important principles of the price action trading. So broken support becomes resistance, broken resistance becomes a support. Once it's happening, it's a strong trading signal. So we shouldn't be surprised that the price is now aiming lower. And that's actually a long-term sell signal, obviously. So let me see where the price can go from here. We broke 61.8 as well, so from Fibonacci's we won't get any proper area. We can get it from the main upswing. As you can see, 38.2 was broken, so 50 seems like a reasonable support at the moment. Which is $14 lower. Yes, $1,243 per ounce. That's the closest support for gold at the moment, and we should get their price soon. Next one will be dollar index. So this weakness of the gold is at some point is caused by the strength of the American dollar. Yesterday we were telling you about this instrument that there is a positive sentiment, but there is no buy signal here yet. And for buy signal, what we were missing was the breakout of the orange resistance here. So it wasn't there yesterday. It's here now. Which shows us a positive sentiment towards American dollar, and actually triggers a midterm buy signal for the American dollar. Now, why there was a positive sentiment? Well, we defended green support here. Then after that, we broke the upper line of the flag, and we broke horizontal resistance here. After the breakout of the resistance, the price came back a little bit and tested this resistance as a support. So again, price action rules. Price action rules. If you're a price action trader, you should follow those signals. And that was a positive test for buyers. The price is making now higher highs and higher lows. So that's a legitimate buy signal for the dollar, for the American dollar. And the closest resistance is here, 94.25, which makes it quite a decent occasion for the buyers. Next one is Australian dollar to American dollar, and here we do have a major sell signal, like a very long-term sell signal. Look at that, since 2011 the price is going down very sharply, and that upswing that we saw recently, which started at the beginning of 2016, that was just a correction. If we look on the long term, that was just a correction, and actually we're breaking the lower line of this correction. So it looks like Australian dollar will be much weaker in the next few weeks, months, or even years than the American dollar. American dollar will be much stronger. What do we have here? Well, that was, some of the traders could have expected that, because we, instead of a bounce like here, here or here, above the uptrend line we had a trend continuation pattern. At some point we had a trend reversal pattern, which I was showing you, this left shoulder head and right shoulder. We even broke the neckline, but that was a false breakout, and that's what makes it even more beautiful, because I always say that false breakouts are very strong technical patterns, and it is always worth at least considering them when opening a position. So that was a false breakout of the neckline, and when the price went back inside below the neckline, that was a proper trading signal. Also, we bounced from this midterm downtrend line here. We bounced from the horizontal resistance here, and that was just a beautiful sell signal. And now it looks very, very bearish. It's like according to the price action rules, it's an ultimate sell signal. Like, I cannot see any bullish signals at the moment. So really, I would be very, very surprised if the price reversed or denied this sell signal. For me, the potential target is 61.8, which makes it like 200 pips movement, but that's just the first target. Like, the real target, long-term target, if you have this patience, is here. It's 700 pips. These are lows from the end of 2015, beginning of 2016. 700 pips target for Australian dollar to American dollar. Australian dollar to Japanese yen is also having the sell signal, and we anticipated that, we warned about that, and that's just a continuation of the sentiment of the situation seen on the chart for a long time. So breakout of the lower line of the technical formation, breakout of the horizontal support, then test that support as a resistance. So again, you can see this principle of the price action trading in action, that we broke this resistance. We broke the support and then used that as a resistance. That's the beauty of the price action, and that's why I love this trading approach, because it's easy and it works. So sell signal here, potential target here, 330 pips lower. American dollar to Danish krone is not very keen to go lower, despite the price being still in a flag formation, despite price still making lower lows and lower highs, but unfortunately there is no sell signal here yet anymore, let's say anymore, because there was one, and I even traded that on my live trading account. Oil hit this resistance on 58.9, created a double top formation, then broke the midterm uptrend line, and now is heading towards the ultimate support on $55.10 per barrel. Even with this drop, the thing is on oil that as long as we stay above the gray area, the sentiment is positive, and we should see the price heading higher as long as we stay above this area. Euro to Japanese yen, here we had signals. We had a buy signal here, which you know about. We had a sell signal here, which you know about as well. Now currently we are exactly in the middle between a horizontal support and a resistance. So for the price action traders, it's the last place worth considering for trading. Because price action traders, what they want to do is they want to open long position as close to the support and open short position as close to the resistance. That's what I do, and we are in the middle. We don't have any good trading signal here on this instrument. Cable touched this blue area, which in our opinion is a combination of important supports. It's a combination of midterm uptrend line, it's a combination of lower line of the correction, and it's a combination of horizontal support. And they touch that and they are trying to reverse. To be honest with you, I would wait for the price to go a bit deeper. For me, and this first contact, okay, it's fine, but it's not very convincing. I would always I'm suspicious here. I would prefer the price getting a bit lower. American dollar to Singaporean dollar. That's a very interesting situation because here we have a flag bearish pattern which promotes a downswing. But why there was no sell signal here? Because we posted that arrow, and that arrow means that there will be sell signal once the lower line of the flag will be broken. So far we do not have this breakout of the lower line of the flag, so there is just a chance for a sell signal, but there is no sell signal here yet. The price is clearly aiming this support. Maybe they can go like inside of the flag there, and as long as we will stay below this area, there still will be a negative sentiment, and we will chase this instrument waiting for the breakout of the lower line of the flag. Next one is New Zealand dollar to American dollar, where we were seeing a positive sentiment, and I even traded that. Luckily, I had a long position, but it did not finish on loss. I've closed that on a break-even point, because that's my trading style, that once I have a nice profit on something, I move my stop loss from loss to the break-even point. And luckily, that's why I do that, because it helps very often. So now we had a chance for a scenario of inverse head and shoulder formation, but instead of that, it looks like we are going to have a symmetric triangle situation here. Breakout of the lower line of the triangle should not trigger as a sell signal. I think that the sell signal should be triggered once we will break the horizontal support as well. So yes, it requires a bit patience, but I think it's worth it, especially that you can see that this downtrend line works. Stopped the downswing for a bit. By the way, there was a nice horizontal support here and a head and shoulder formation. Breakout of the lower line of the triangle should, in theory, trigger a sell signal, but I would wait for the breakout of the horizontal support first. American dollar to Canadian dollar, we wrote an analysis about that the upswing is more probable even before the BOC decision, Bank of Canada decision and statement. Why is that? Because day before the decision we had a hammer on a horizontal support. That long tail was a false bearish breakout, so a strong buy signal, and that was proven right yesterday. And now we just have a continuation of this approach, of this sentiment, and the price is aiming this horizontal resistance here on 129. So that's, well, that should happen. It looks like the price will eventually get there, which makes it a good buy option, not the best buy option, because you do not really know where to put the stop loss here. So the risk to reward ratio is not desirable here, but the situation itself is bullish. Canadian dollar to Swiss franc touched the upper line of the flag, did not break the upper line of the flag, so there is no buy signal here. Buy signal will be created once the price will break the upper line of the flag, so we have to wait for that. S&P 500, how's the German index before the government shutdown. As you can see, yesterday we had a small correction. The price is still fighting on a midterm support. It's the same situation on DAX. Well, yes, it's kind of similar. DAX is not fighting on a uptrend line, but DAX is fighting on a horizontal support. And actually is doing good with the defense. DAX is doing pretty well. It draw a nice hammer candlestick, which promotes a scenario of further upswing. American dollar to Japanese yen denies the flag, denies the bearish flag here. Well, not yet, but it looks like that. Price is still below the midterm downtrend line, but once this trend line will be broken, we will have long-term buy signal here. Bitcoin, well, that was fast. It took us, well, a little bit more than a week to go from $10,000 to $15,000. Pretty well, not yet there, not here on $15,000, but well, seems like the price will get there eventually, right? So looks very probable. Not much to comment here. Not much to comment. That's just Bitcoin doing Bitcoin stuff. Let's see. Defending the lower line of the symmetric triangle, which is positive and can bring us a buy signal, but buy signal, well, short-term buy signal can be created now, but long-term will be created once the price will break the red area. American dollar to Swiss franc, that's absolutely beautiful, this setup, I like it. So I will tell you a little bit about this. Now we had an upswing, we had an uptrend. Let's look on a daily chart. Breakout of the long-term downtrend line actually triggers a buy signal. Then we have a bullish flag which confirms the buy signal. Then we got a breakout of the upper line of the flag and a breakout of the horizontal resistance. Here price action comes to action, so a broken resistance becomes a support. The support is defended with a hammer candlestick with a long tail. And the price is advancing higher, and there is a beautiful buy signal here on this instrument. On euro to British pound, we unfortunately have to still wait for the buy signal or sell signal because the price is still locked inside of the sideways trend between this support and this resistance. And on euro to Swiss franc, the situation is very similar. That's actually a very low volatility this week. Price is creating like a pennant, but it's a pennant inside of a bigger formation, so it's absolutely not tradable. That's like the worst place where the price action traders can trade. So as you can see, we do have few instruments with instant long-term trading signals. Not here, but on Australian dollar to Canadian dollar sell signal, gold sell, dollar index buy, Aussie sell, here, no. Here buy. No, on DAX buy, there is a buy signal. American dollar to Japanese yen, we are close to the trading signal. American dollar to Swiss franc, buy signal. So several instruments, with nice trading signals right now. Rest of them we are just patiently waiting for the situation to develop. Thank you very much for attending this webinar. Remember that you can check our Twitter account and our website for more setups, occasions, and views on the market. Thanks very much for attending this meeting. Now we'll have a short break, and after that a webinar about the trading psychology. Thanks very much and see you later.